Mojang has unveiled a new Minecraft game, and it's an augmented reality mobile experience called Minecraft Earth. The title was announced at MinaCon, where Mojang explained that it will be a free-to-play experience that, among other things, will task players with hunting down clusters of blocks, chests, and mobs scattered throughout the real world, and creating grand data structures with other players. Its notable news given Minecraft, which was purchased by Microsoft for $2.5 billion in 2014, is one of the biggest video game franchises in the world. The base game has sold 176 million copies worldwide in 10 years, and has over 19 million monthly active users. That's more than Fortnite. In Minecraft Earth, you will go out in the real world to find small clusters of blocks, chests, or mobs called collectibles. As you walk, you will also find adventures, which are small slices of Minecraft worlds that you play in life-size. Explained Mojang. Your sidewalk becomes a mine, where there may be diamonds under your feet. Your local park may have Minecraft trees where skeletons lurk, ready for a skirmish. Players will collect resources, fight mobs, and gain experience points to progress in their career. Although the gameplay broad strokes differ, Minecraft Earth seems to be taking cues from Pokemon Go, the super popular mobile game that lets players explore the real world in search of pocket monsters, fight other players for control of gyms, and level up their favorite mons. Since launching back in July 2016, Pokemon Go has been downloaded over 750 million times, and brought in over $1.8 billion in revenue for developer Niantic. Mojang has not revealed when Minecraft Earth will be hitting digital shelves, but it has confirmed the iOS and Android title will be entering closed beta this summer. Chinese regulators are once again reviewing games submitted for license consideration in China, putting an end to the licensing freeze that had halted game approvals for the bulk of 2018. According to TechCrunch, one set of games has already been evaluated under the freshly restructured system, and that licenses for approved games should be assigned in the near future. Prior to today, Chinese game makers had been enduring a 9-month-long freeze on the approval process that typically greenlights games for release and monetization in China. The halt was the result of an internal power reshuffling that oversees the government's Central Propaganda Committee State Administration of Press Publication, taking control of the approval process, a move that aims to give the central government more control over the country's game market. Now upon running again, the approval process is both looking to bar games that are deemed to contain pornography, gambling, violence, historical misrepresentations, and other potentially inappropriate content, according to a statement made by a senior member of the Chinese Communist Party's propaganda department. In the wake of the approval fall, TechCrunch reports that shares of major Chinese game makers have already seen a notable rise. Tencent's shares have increased by 4% since the announcement, while NetEase has seen a 1% increase. Rovio's latest launch, Angry Birds Dream Blasts of $9 million, $7 million in gross bookings during its first 3 months out, an income boost that helped the company report a 12.3% increase in gross bookings for its whole games business at launch. That puts Dream Blast as Rovio's third highest-earning title, just behind Angry Birds Friends, and its top earner Angry Birds 2. Games gross bookings, a figure Rovio uses to capture in-app purchases and in-app advertising sales, came in at $65.8 million, $3 million at the first quarter, a 3% increase from the $58.6 million, $65.2 million reported during the first quarter of the year prior. Angry Birds still continues to be the company's big earner in its games business, bringing in $32 million, $35.6 million in gross bookings all on its own. The company says that the GAMEG agreed doubled 48% year-on-year and has generated $285,317.5 million in gross bookings since its 2015 release across its top 5 games, including Angry Birds 2, Friends, Dream Blast, Angry Birds Match, and Angry Birds Pop. OVO also says it's been able to maintain stable daily active users and monthly unique players as well. The influx of new players for the January release Angry Birds Dream Blast helped to offset any decline in older titles, thanks in part to the $23.7 million, $26.4 million the company spent on user acquisition this quarter. As a whole, the Rovio Group's revenue increased by 7.8% year-over-year and came in at $79,078.9 million this quarter. It's a boost led by the games business, which reported $66.3 million, $73.8 million in revenue, as revenue for Rovio's brand licensing segment fell by just over 50% year-over-year to $6,005.1 million due to low revenue from the Angry Birds movie. One Anthem developer discusses their time working on the game with Kotaku. Kotaku has published a story that collects the experiences of 19 developers that were involved in the development of BioWare's latest release Anthem in some way, working through what many of those devs describe as a rocky development, plagued by issues from the start. Dissecting a major release like this is rarely as cut and dry as what went wrong. But still, some of the anecdotes shared by the anonymous developers interviewed for this story offer a look at how issues encountered in different parts of development can wear on a team and affect the work they set out to do. Some of the early issues BioWare developers say hit the game main sound familiar to fellow game developers, and simply came from investing significant time and work into ideas that, once implemented, were not actually that fun. Flying on traversal work changed several times. Because of this, changes that required more changes to the level design each time, and procedural encounters were eventually scrapped, because the game was super reliant on this procedural system that just was not fun. In some cases, devs say the internal issues with EA's Frostbite engine, self-taught features, made them more difficult to implement since the in-house engine had not been designed with those in mind. According to one developer interviewed, part of the trouble was you could do enough in the engine to hack it to show what was possible, but then to get the investment behind it to get it actually done took a lot longer, and in some cases you run into a brick wall. Then you realize, oh my god, we can do this only if we reinvent the wheel, which is going to take too long. It was sometimes difficult to know when to cut and run. In other cases, developers said there were several times where they participate in long meetings on how to approach and overcome certain issues, but would wrap up without any deciding on any course of action. That would just happen over and over. Stuff would take a year or two to figure out, because no one really wanted to make a call on it, said an anonymous Anthem developer. The full story on Kotaku is a lengthy read filled with many similar experiences, but one that documents many unfortunate parts of game development. and the storms that developer that BioWare had to weather and overcome to get Anthem out the door. BioWare and DA both declined to comment while Cold Oak's story was being researched, but the firm released a statement after the fact noting that it had decided not to comment because it did not want to be part of something that was attempting to bring specific team members and leaders down as individuals. In that statement, which can be read in full on the BioWare blog, BioWare says that crunch has not been a major topic of feedback in our internal postmortems, and that leadership does everything we can to try and make it healthy and stress-free. But we know there is always room to improve. In that response, BioWare says that it does not see the merit in articles that publicly document issues faced by staff through a long development, and does not think articles that tear down one another or one another's work are making our industry and craft better. Former wargaming executives Ian Stetson and Jerry Prohaska have formed a new game studio with the help of veterans from Riot Games.